Shadow Warrior 2 is one of the best games I've played in a while, even better than really big games like Destiny and The Division. Wait, what do you mean a $30 game can't be as good as Destiny or The Division?
Fuck off!
So Shadow Warrior 2 is the third game in the Shadow Warrior series. I said it's a good game, I didn't say the developers could count to 3. And the original Shadow Warrior came out around 1997, the remake came out in 2013, and there was no name change, at least Battlefield 1 added a 1. And finally we get to this one, which in my opinion is the best Shadow Warrior game so far. You might even say it's the best Wang so far, or the best Wang you ever had. Matter of fact, you won't even want any more Wang once you've had this one. And this game improves on almost everything. The movement system is much better, it's a lot more fluid with dash attacks and double jumps, and the controls are mapped a lot better than the original remake. And this game really nails first-person sword play. It doesn't bitch out by pulling the camera back into a third-person camera. And the melee is so well done, with the combos being more of a directional context thing and a hold rather than having to do some type of weird combination of buttons. And you can perform things like normal strikes, ranged attacks, spin attacks where you're surrounded by enemies, very strategic, and even thrust attacks. Well, it's a Wang thrust, what do you expect? And if melee isn't your thing, this thing has tons of weapons. It's got pistols, shotguns, bows, assault rifles, rocket launchers, grenade launchers, nail guns, double pistols, and whatever the hell that is. And there are so many weapons, and you can customize the weapons with upgrades that drop from enemies. And it's very smart. The weapons don't just add base damage to a weapon, forcing you into some type of optimal build that everyone has to use. The upgrades actually change the weapon for each situation. So for instance, some upgrades may have plus elemental damage, but for enemies that maybe have a physical resistance, you'd rather have replaced with element instead to deal with the physical resistance. But it really isn't perfect. Versus some of the tougher, more bullet spongier enemies much later in the higher difficulty tiers, ammo is really gonna matter because those enemies have so much health, and if you have to adjust your build and adjust your upgrades on the fly just to deal with those enemies, it really becomes cumbersome because swapping out those upgrades isn't really the easiest thing to do.
Fuck off!
Wait, what am I even talking about? This is a game about a guy named Wang that spouts obscenities while slicing up enemies and demons and ninjas while driving a cool car the whole time. And that's why I love this game, but I gotta warn you, I might say something that you guys might not like in 3, 2, seriously, if you're a fanboy of other games, this might be the time to leave. 1. Wang pisses on other AAA games. For $30, I got a PvE experience with a ton of story that's witty and self-aware and funny.
Should I listen to
Biggie.
the 10 crack commandments? Number 4, I know you've heard this before, never get high on your own supply, huh?
A game that's actually funny and witty? Now, while The Taken King is actually pretty witty, it took a whole year for Destiny to find its sense of humor. I mean, sure, games like Destiny and The Division have raids and PvE, but at this point, I find the core experience of Shadow Warrior very, very fun. The slicing and dicing and exploding and stabbing, stomping on demons who aren't all that snuggly, shooting at nightmares that fly with their wings. These are a few of my favorite things. Look, I like Destiny, but it's literally the Taken wallet and rise of investment at this point. Not counting much of the content is locked behind PSN, which will bring this up to like a $200 experience if you're only playing for Destiny. And there aren't even any Wangs in that game, not even blue ones. Crap, I was supposed to be talking about Shadow Warrior 2. Yeah, something skill upgrades. The open zones in the game have replayability. You get a home base like Batman's Wayne Manor, except it's Wang Manor. And you can transfer your character between single and multiplayer games to increase the challenge or play with other Wangs other than your own. Other Wangs means multiplayer. In conclusion, Shadow Warrior, at least for me, has been a breath of fresh air in the stinking, polluted city that's AAA games. I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired of paying $100 for a collector's edition of the game just to get the full experience. And then to turn around and feel shafted every time the game gets a little bit more content or future DLC scams. With Shadow Warrior, I feel really good about the $30 I spent. The core experience is fun, there's no crappy DRM on load up, and it doesn't feel like stuff was removed from the game game to sell it to me later. I mean, this really feels like a complete game. And it doesn't even try to sell me a spaceship with no game for the cost of a game. Seriously, I don't know what's going on at Star Citizen, but it's not looking real good right now. And what's going on with AAA games as a whole for that matter? This game feels really good for $30, it cuts through the BS, and it's just a game that's complete and fun for a change. Oh, and the penis sword isn't a PS4 exclusive.